Welcome to Technically You, where the Wi Fi is always strong and the security's even stronger. Today's episode is all about WPA3, the latest Wi Fi security protocol that might already be protecting your data, or should be.
That's right. If you've ever connected to a wireless network, whether it's at home, a coffee shop, or your office, you've been under the protection of something called Wi-Fi Protected Access, or WPA. And WPA3 is the newest and most secure version of that.
So let's start with the basics. What is WPA3? Well, WPA3 stands for Wi-Fi Protected Access 3. It's the third generation of security protocols developed by the Wi-Fi Alliance to keep wireless networks safe.
It replaces WPA2, which was introduced way back in 2004. That's like using the same lock on your door for 2 decades. It was time for an upgrade because you never know who has a spare key.
Exactly. WPA3 improves encryption, protects users on open networks, and makes it much harder for hackers to guess your Wi Fi password, even if it's a weak one.
All right, techies, this is where it gets cool. Let's talk about how it works. At its core, WPA3 uses something called Simultaneous Authentication of Equals, SAE.
Which sounds fancy, but basically it replaces the old pre-shared key handshake used in WPA2.
Right. SAE is a more secure key exchange method. It means that even if someone is lurking around trying to eavesdrop while you're connecting to Wi-Fi, they can't grab enough info to brute force your password.
Plus, WPA3 uses forward secrecy, which means even if someone manages to steal encryption keys today, they can't use them to go back and decrypt your old data. That's huge for security and privacy.
Now, let's run through the top benefits. 1. Stronger encryption. WPA3 uses 192-bit encryption in enterprise mode. 2. Better protection against brute force attacks. 3. Secure public Wi-Fi with opportunistic wireless encryption, EWAP. Think safer browsing in coffee shops. 4. Easier device onboarding with WPA3 Easy Connect, especially for IoT devices. 5. Forward secrecy, as we mentioned, for better long-term protection.
Also, it's smarter with weak passwords. WPA3 can detect when you're using a not-so-great password and still make it harder to crack.
So now the big question, how is WPA3 better than WPA2?
Well, WPA2 was great 20 years ago, but today, cyber attacks are more sophisticated. WPA2 relies on PSK, which is vulnerable to offline attacks.
WPA3's SAE makes offline dictionary attacks nearly impossible, and WPA2 doesn't have forward secrecy. That's a big security gap.
Not to mention, public Wi-Fi under WPA2 is basically open season for sniffers. WPA3's encryption, even on open networks, is a major upgrade.
Now, if you care about your data, banking info, passwords, personal messages, you should be using WPA3.
And the good news? Most newer routers and devices already support WPA3. If you're shopping for a new router, make sure WPA3 is on the box.
Even your phone, iPhones with iOS 13 Plus, Android 10 Plus, and Windows 10 Plus all support WPA3. The catch? Both your router and device must support it to take full advantage of this enhanced security.
So how do you actually use WPA3?
Step 1, check your router, log into the admin settings and look for security options. Choose WPA3 or WPA2/WPA3 mixed mode if you're using older devices.
And if your router doesn't support it, consider trashing it and upgrading. Okay, that was harsh, but a WPA3 capable router is a great investment for future-proofing and securing your network.
So WPA3 is more than just another acronym. It's a crucial part of your digital safety.
Yes, it's like swapping out your old door lock for a fingerprint scanner. Much harder for the bad guys to break in.
And with the rise of smart homes and IoT devices, Wi-Fi security isn't just a convenience, It's a necessity.
That's it for this episode. Remember, secure your network, use WPA3, and maybe, just maybe, change that weak router and SSID password while you're at it.
Until next time, stay connected, stay protected, and stay curious.